Welcome back to Privacy Kitchen. Now, whether you're a beginner with GDPR or you're quite advanced to just wanting a sanity check, stay with us because we're going to give you 10 steps to GDPR compliance in less than 10 minutes. Cisco's 2020 data privacy benchmark study said in the UK there's a 3.5 times return on investment on privacy spend, and I can really believe it. Stay with us to the end. We've got a fantastic bonus tip on how GDPR can become a revenue generator for you. Hi, I'm Robert Bohr, the founder and CEO of Keepable, the award-winning solution saving you time, cost and stress on privacy, giving you a great answer for the board and for the customers. This video is part of Privacy Kitchen, our free video help on all things privacy. So grab a cup of coffee, and once you've watched this video, check out our other videos. As usual, links are in the notes below, and while you're there, please like and subscribe. So step one has to be the key people. So for your project to really succeed, you need someone at senior level, maybe even a board member, who doesn't just talk the talk, but actually by their actions shows people that GDPR and privacy is important to your organization. Next, you need a day-to-day privacy champion that people can turn to with their privacy issues. And he or she is going to have training on GDPR and privacy and really be in charge of the privacy program. Now, in small organizations, these two people may be the same person, and in larger organizations, you may be expanding the structure. Step two, benchmark your readiness. You can't manage what you can't measure. So establish a benchmark so you can score where you are and you can see how you progress. Now, GDPR is your ultimate benchmark, but you'll be looking for a proxy for this that's more workable. So Keepable has one in its service, so do other providers. But privacy is very collaborative, and I'm sure if you talk to other people in your situation, you'll find everyone's willing to share resources. So use this scoring system against the benchmark to see where you are now, where the gaps are, so you can target your remediation, and you'll be coming back to this time and again. Step three, your personal data inventory. The single most important step in your privacy governance is establishing an inventory of the personal data that your organization processes, your data map. This, together with your benchmark, is really going to drive your program. Your data map will tell you what categories of personal data you process, the purposes, the legal bases, who you share it with, how long you keep it for, and what you do at the end of the day, as well as how you've secured this whole life cycle. And your data map is how you create your Article 30 record, something all controllers and all processors must do under Article 30 of the GDPR. These records of processing are not the same as your full inventory, it's more of a summary, but you need the inventory to be able to do those. Step four, remediation and risk management. And now you've got everything coming together, you can start up systematic remediation. And you'll also know who should be on your team and what they're going to need to do. All of the next steps we're talking about are part of this remediation phase, and you'll keep coming back to your benchmark and to your data map all the way through. And now with your data map underway, it's a great time to draft up your risk assessments, which GDPR calls impact assessments. There's one that GDPR says you must do called the Data Protection Impact Assessment, and that's when there's a likely high risk to individuals from your processing. Step five, implement your privacy framework. You'll now bring all this together into your privacy framework, driven by your policies and procedures, all those different checklists and the audits you're going to do, the training and awareness. This is everything you do to create your privacy governance and maintain it as a living thing. These are also the appropriate technical and organizational measures that GDPR requires you to have, not only to comply, but to be able to demonstrate that compliance. And all of this is key for implementing data protection by design and data protection by default. Data protection by design is essentially ensuring that you implement data protection principles at the outset of every project. They're always considered. Data protection by default is that implementing those data protection principles is your default position. And now you'll be in a position to start finalizing those data protection impact assessments. And you'll also be in a position to decide if you need a data protection officer, a DPO, or an EU representative, and appoint them. Step six, security, review, and preparation. Now, you can't have data protection without good security. It's that fundamental. It's one of GDPR's 7 principles. And that familiar phrase, appropriate technical and organizational measures, in security, you're going to be looking at encryption first and foremost. It's fantastic for reducing the risk to data subjects and your risk of notifying breaches. Also, access control, password managers, and mobile device management tools so you can remote wipe lost devices. And don't forget good old physical security, alarm on the building, visitor badges, walking around to make sure there's clear desk, clear screen. You'll need to prepare for personal data breaches. They will happen. You need to record them all, but you don't need to notify them all. You need a risk assessment procedure when there's been a breach, so you can decide what the risk is to the individuals. But you need to act quickly. There's only 72 hours to notify the regulators, so you need to have a response plan in place and a team ready. Step 7, data subject rights. Data subject rights, or DSRs, have been greatly strengthened by GDPR and new ones have been added. They're not all absolute. So for example, if someone withdraws consent to marketing, that's an absolute, but others are not. You need to know what those conditions are. Believe me, if you've not prepared for them, these are not easy. Step 8, review your processes. Processes are your suppliers who process personal data on your behalf. Typical examples are CRM tools like Salesforce.com or HubSpot, or maybe a group member does payroll for all group companies. Prioritize that list, put GDPR compliant wording in place. Before GDPR with processes, it was a short paragraph in a contract and a little bit of due diligence. That due diligence is a little bit more involved, but the contract has now become a 3 to 6 page data processing addendum. Thankfully, these are now pretty common. Step 9, privacy notices. Now, privacy notices were there before. It's one of those areas that's been very much strengthened by GDPR. You've got to review all those and make sure you're including everything you need to. Don't forget, this is not just a privacy policy on your website. You will need an HR privacy notice for your employees. And you will put what's called data collection notices, a layered data collection notice, whenever you're taking personal data from somebody. A great example of this is the cookie banner. You'll have seen, because GDPR beefed up consent, it's meant that cookie banners have become more intricate. And the final step, training and awareness. Training and awareness means this whole privacy framework you've spent time building gets put into practice in the right way by the right people. Yes, you'll need to do an all-hands training. We recommend annually. The UK ICO's report of breach form actually does ask, did the people involved have data protection training in the last 2 years? But we recommend an annual refresher and obviously train new joiners. You'll want to train certain teams a little bit more in their area. So marketing, investor relations, these sort of teams will definitely need training on cookies, on cold calling, cold emailing, and IT and security will need training on the breach response, for example, and maybe customer support need training on recognizing data subject rights. And take the time to refresh security training too. And here's that bonus tip, reaping the rewards from all of this hard work. So don't just put these great measures in place and leave them internal. Put these great measures in place and then prepare to show this, to demonstrate this to third parties, not because you have to, but because it's a great way to overcome sales objections. It's a great way to fly through investor due diligence and audits. When I was general counsel, I created summary documents about data protection, about information security. Maybe you've got a network you want to describe or infrastructure. These summary documents are worth their weight in gold. They head off those objections before they even come. So there you go, 10 steps to GDPR compliance in less than 10 minutes. Do take a look at our other videos. Please subscribe below, like this video if you enjoyed it. Please do visit us at Keepable, and please get involved. Please do use #PrivacyKitchen to tell us the topics and questions you want us to cover. Stay well in the meantime, and I'll see you soon in Privacy Kitchen.